Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to welcome you aboard today's flight.
Passport, forex check, insurance check, tickets check, bags packed. Sounds familiar?
Yes.
Be it flight, train, car. Travel within India or outside, the drill is more or less the same. Preceded, of course, by loads of pre travel excitement, especially if it's a leisure trip. And the travel effects lasts days, even post the vacation. Right from browsing and finally to zeroing in on destination. The travel thrill stays all through. You soak in the new cultures, devour new cuisines, connect with a whole new world. All this while capturing the picture perfect moments. These finally rest on Instagram until it becomes been there and done that. Experts say that travel helps to reduce stress cortisol levels. It increases the happiness quotient. And we Indians are following this to the T. According to a MasterCard travel report, in the first 3 months of 2024 alone, 97 million passengers have traveled through Indian airports. Just 10 years ago, the same figure would have taken a whole year to achieve. Imagine that. So many of us are flying to international and domestic destinations. In today's episode, we will cruise through latest travel trends and hot and upcoming destinations. So put on your travel shoes, spread your wings, and sail with me on this journey that has answers to all the travel-related queries. I asked Madhavan Menon, chairman of Thomas Cook, and this is what he has to say.
To me, any destination that allows me to sort of soak in, be it the culture, be it the history, be it the scenery, be it the people, I enjoy. Destination on my bucket list is to do the Arctic cruise, where you interact with polar bears. The other one is the Christmas festival in Lapland.
It is Thursday, 27 June. I'm E.T. Prachi Verma, your host on this episode, the Indian Travel Takeoff on the Morning Brief. Here's Menon of Thomas Cook. Of late, we are hearing a lot of people applying for visas to countries in Europe, US as well, and they are not getting the slots. So is there a lot of demand? Do you actually see that happening?
Demand from Indian travelers has actually grown significantly in the post-pandemic period. Demand for Indian tourists has grown simultaneously. And as I said earlier, the consulates and the embassies are actually gearing themselves up. They've been given a very short period of time to re-skill their employees in such a way to ensure that the process is smooth. Obviously, expecting to get a visa for the Schengen or even the US at 15 days' notice is not going to happen. I think we're kidding ourselves if we believe that that is the level to which the ease of applying for a visa is going to go to. 3 months, I think, would be something more realistic. But the reality is it's a significant improvement over a year ago.
You mentioned that there is a lot of demand, both outbound and inbound travel. So, specifically for outbound travel, what do you think has caused the jump and what is the jump like?
In my opinion, there has been maybe a 40-50% increase in the number of people traveling. Now, you'll appreciate travel differs from destination to destination. You've seen a jump into Southeast Asia, especially the countries where they've either said visa on arrival or visa-free travel. If you look at countries like Georgia, Uzbekistan, and some of the Central Asian republics, you've actually seen a further jump because these countries are welcoming Indian tourists with open arms. You don't need to actually apply well in advance. But the reality is that we're seeing a significantly larger number of Indians traveling. Now, this is further reiterated by the fact that every time you get onto a flight internationally or even domestically, you see two different things that are happening. Every seat in the plane is taken on most flights. Additionally, what you're beginning to see is the mix of passengers from what was predominantly people going back for jobs, for example, into the Middle East, is now a mix of families going on holiday, business people, as well as people returning to their home. The reality is, pre pandemic, people talked about a holiday in Europe maybe once in 3 years or possibly once in 4 years. Today, people are taking shorter holidays to multiple destinations simply because if you today, a domestic destination may be as expensive as traveling to a Dubai or to a Bangkok. Today, people go to Georgia. It's actually a cheaper way to visit a country in Europe.
That's like good news for companies like yours, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're now beginning to see this in other destinations. I mean, I've never heard of Indians traveling to Georgia, going to Uzbekistan to see Samarkand. People saying that, we are willing to travel into Vietnam. They want to see Cambodia. These are all things which we all as travel companies propose, but people never sort of showed interest. Today, all those destinations which we were never able to promote are now suddenly becoming destinations of choice.
So the appetite has increased much
Oh,
more.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about people from small towns and all? Do you also see them approaching you for
Yeah.
arranging? Yeah.
Yeah,
Has that number
absolutely.
increased?
Well, I don't have a number on my fingertips to give you, but we are seeing a lot of demand emerge from the smaller cities, be it Kerala in the south, be it Punjab in the north, be it the northeastern states, West Bengal, Andhra, Telangana, the works. There is demand coming from the smaller cities. And I think it is, India's population, the demographics are such that these could appear from anywhere, unlike the past.
Menon tells me that travel is getting more experiential. People are traveling for experiences and not just to strike off destinations on their bucket list. I asked him why.
There has been wealth accumulation over the years. As our GDP has grown, as the economy has grown, this accumulation has happened in a particular segment of society. And the aspirations of the younger generation have also grown. And when people recognize that they have an opportunity to travel somewhere within their budgetary requirements, people do travel.
On an
Okay.
average, an Indian traveler would be spending how much in a year on these
So
travel trips?
So, Prachi, if I look at airfares, which are anywhere between 1.5 to 2 times higher than they were pre pandemic, hotel rates in most cases are almost double. The rupee has weakened. Now, if I add all this up, you're actually looking at people spending much more than they did in the past. And I'm not even getting down to shopping. So, in my opinion, spend has grown and it has grown significantly. And that's reflected in some of the numbers because you'll appreciate we account for our revenue from the commissions that we earn, which is a percentage of what the customer pays. So in reality, I think there has been a significant growth. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any growth in my compensation. I don't know about you, but
That's a pain point,
I
no?
yeah, I know it's a pain point for me too, but the reality is people out there have more money to spend. And it's not restricted to travel, it is demand for electronics, it's demand for everything, Prachi. I think people are living far more on the fly than they did ever in the past. Now I turn to Santosh Kumar of Booking.com. I ask him about the current travel trends, especially for the Indian traveler. Santosh shares insights and data on the new emerging travel patterns.
At Booking.com, our travel trends data for 2024 indicates that 43% of Indian travelers are looking at long haul holidays and 44% are planning short haul international getaways this year. With plenty of options to choose from, Indians are excited to visit international destinations to explore their culture, culinary delights, immersive experiences, and beautiful landscapes. Prachi, we've all heard of the old adage it is about the journey and not the destination. However, in 2024, it is all about experiences. This is having an impact on the type of accommodation that Indian travelers prefer, whether the destination is in India or abroad. In fact, Indian travelers are looking for accommodations which not only elevate their travel experience but also make it a home away from home. This trend also resonates in our travel trends data for 2024, which revealed that 67% of Indian travelers prefer to stay at hotels, while 54% prefer resorts. Alternative accommodation is any type of accommodation that is not a hotel. So, and we are seeing Indian travelers choosing to stay at a variety of alternative accommodations that match their preferences. For example, our data shows that 33% of Indian travelers are interested in staying at villas or vacation homes, 30% at bed and breakfast, 29% at guest houses, and 25% at lodges. In fact, for Booking.com specifically, alternative accommodation is one of the fastest growing segments with more than 7.6 million listings globally.
Moving on to Rajesh Margo, CEO of Make My Trip Now. He takes me through MMT's journey, which started on 1st April 2001. As a startup, initially, there were many ups and downs. Then came its IPO in 2010 in the US. Post which, it started building hotel business and then it came up with physical stores. Pandemic was harsh, as we all know. Some sectors were hit harder, like travel, than the rest. But then the post-pandemic resurgence happened.
People are taking more shorter vacations, every now and then combining with the long weekend and going to the nearby destination. So the duration of the break, even if it is like 2 days or 2.5 days, that's good enough.
So, Rajesh, what are the top destinations that Indian travelers are picking up this summer, especially 2020?
For international, it continues to be Bali, and a lot of Europe, by the way, Greece, Turkey are becoming very, very popular as well. Singapore, Dubai, Thailand, and within Thailand, there is Koh Samui and Phuket. They're becoming more popular rather than Bangkok alone, right? So Vietnam and Almaty, Tashkent. I mean, wherever you see connectivity that has improved significantly, people are definitely trying to sort of look at this season. And then there will be people who, are looking for long haul travel, right? So then South Africa is popular. Of course, good old Switzerland is popular. Also, Australia, New Zealand becomes popular as well. So there are quite a few destinations. Depends on, your travel plans or, and of course, budget and what you like, right? Your preferences. If you like the beach destination, then you would obviously go to Phuket and Mauritius or some of the European. And if you want to just go, let's say, like a cruise trip, then you go to Mediterranean and we end up doing a cruise trip as well. So I guess another destination I must mention, it's also becoming quite popular, is Scotland, because a lot of the Indian travelers also like to go and drive on their own. And wherever it's driving is exactly the way it is in India, then you end up sort of preferring that location as well. So these are as far as international locations are concerned. Domestic, like I was mentioning, from the north, for example, given in a 45 degree or more in temperature, it's always hills and then Goa to an extent, but definitely hills first. Now, within hills, you've got J&K, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Northeast. You definitely go there. And as the rains start to happen, then Kerala becomes very popular, Goa becomes very popular as well. And as the weather improves, then the short-term nearby destinations become very important, more from a leisure standpoint.
And what about the spurt in spiritual tourism? Do you think it's a recent phenomenon or has it always been there?
It was always been there, I would say. I think the shape and form is changing. And the other very interesting change that we've seen is that now a lot of people are actually looking to travel more to experience the monuments, experience the history, experience the culture, rather than just only, religious reason. That is a very interesting and a welcome change. And I think a lot of the credit should go to, again, new developments that are happening. The infrastructure that has improved, the destination infrastructure that has improved.
Are the highs sustainable with the growing personal wealth and disposable income levels?
There are projections that the disposable income are going to get double by 2030. And the fact that we've seen that the portion out of the disposable income that people have is increasingly getting spent on travel and experiences, the entertainment, and so on. So, which effectively means that from a demand standpoint, the momentum seems to be around in terms of potential travel growth. Some of the industry experts have actually talked about double-digit growth for the travel and tourism industry in the coming years as well. And even on the supply side, if you see some of the airlines orders, the record orders that the airlines have placed, the hospitality industry looking to all the branded hotels, chain hotels are looking to expand. There's a pipeline of about 650 hotels coming up on the base of about 1,000 hotels. So if you bring everything together along with the improved road infrastructure, rail infrastructure, seems like everything is moving in the right direction.
So, Rajesh, a very candid question. What is your holiday plan? Where are you traveling with family or solo or with friends?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So, we are looking at maybe spending a few days in London because I just happened to be there for a long work trip. And then on the way back, I'm sort of swinging by and thought that we can just get together there and spend a few days together.
It's going to be cooler than you're based out of Gurgaon, so it's going to be cooler than
One of the reasons, absolutely. One of the reasons. Yeah.
As a company, what are the customer offerings you're looking at growing and adding?
Yeah. So we are looking to grow the in-destination activity and experiences in a big way, which used to be there on our platform pre-pandemic. We're trying to bring it back and grow it. And then the other segment that we are potentially looking to grow is also the intercity cab. We just recently invested in a company called Savari, which is into intercity cab. It's a fairly fragmented space on the supply side. And I think there is a lot of headroom in terms of improving the quality and the experience for the customers if we are able to, sort of consolidate that a little bit.
According to most recent MasterCard Economics Institute analysis, Munich ranks number 1 trending summer destination this year. This is followed by Tokyo. Albania is number 3 on this list. These are trending destinations at global scale. But for India, it is different. According to the same analysis, the top 5 trending destinations that Indian travelers are visiting this summer include Amsterdam, followed by Singapore, London, Frankfurt, and Melbourne. Indian traveler has just gotten warmed up to world travel. Countries are welcoming Indians with open arms, especially when many nations are facing a slowdown. So what is your pick? Does the beach work for you? Then it is Brazil, Maldives, Seychelles, or Thailand. Or is it the mountains, Himalayas, Andes, Alps? Is culture history drawing you? Or is it the forests? Or closer home, beaches of Goa or Andaman? Just go, unwind, let your hair down, scale new heights, climb new mountains, and float in new waters. Let the travel do its magic. That's all for today. I'm your host, Prachi Verma, and you were listening to The Morning Brief from The Economic Times. This episode was produced by Vinayak Agarwal, sound editor Rajesh Nayak, executive producers Anirban Chaudhary and Arijit Burman. The Morning Brief episode drops every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Do tune in to ET Play for all audio content, including The Morning Brief. You can listen to our podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thank you for listening and have a nice day ahead.